Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about, I reached out and texted about 30 realtors from Zillow asking to buy their home, basically taking subject to, so creative financing, so a combination of subject to as well as seller carry second. And just kind of want to show my response rate after texting about 30 people. So what's nice about this strategy is it's free. Like you literally just can download Zillow on your phone for free. And I set filters on Zillow so that I have my criteria. So I'll just share mine. It has to be built between 2019 to 2023. And why that range is because I want a new home, number one. Number two is I'm hoping the interest rate is a good interest rate that I can take over. So like 4% or less, ideally. Or like 5% range. And it has to be 4 bedrooms or more because those rent out better. It has to be within these cities which are in a good school district. So that came out to be about maybe 30 listings that showed up. And what I do is I sort it by newest to oldest, and I just go from top to bottom, right? So basically I will look at the oldest ones first because usually those sellers are more desperate because it is transitioning over to a buyer's market, especially in an area like Huntsville, Alabama, where there's a lot of new construction, right? Because when there's new construction, what happens? If a home is like 3 years old, selling for $300,000, and I can buy a brand new home for $310,000, why would I not buy the brand new home for $310,000 when I get warranties? I can pick my finishes. I can get the builder to give me incentives to cover my closing costs, to give me rate buy downs, right? So it's a no-brainer to buy new construction if you're an investor or if you're a home buyer. My only incentive to buy an older home is if I can get creative financing. That's literally it. And when I do creative financing, I want to take other loans subject to. Hopefully it's a good interest rate of 4% or less. I'm able to get a seller carry second at a low interest rate of 1%. And that still allows me to rent it out and cash flow, right? With no to low money down. That's purely my objective. So in my text message, I usually introduce myself like, hey, I'm Steven. I own a few properties in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm looking to grow my portfolio. I am interested in this address, copy and paste, and just said, is the seller looking to straight sell this, or is the seller open to some sort of creative financing or loan assumption with a seller carry second? If that's the case, I can make a more aggressive offer, right? So, basically throwing it out there that I want to do creative financing. And I think I texted about 25 to 30 people. And I have about maybe 6 responses. So 4 just flat out said, the seller wants a straight buy and only a straight buy. So that's not my type of seller, right? Because if I want a straight buy, I'd rather just buy new construction and not deal with any of this, right? I could buy as many new constructions as I want in Huntsville, Alabama right now. Not much effort, right? But you're putting 25% down, you get some incentives, and but I want to put less than 25% down, right? Because I want to leverage. So out the gate, I just said, hey, if the seller changes their mind, keep me in mind for creative financing. Or if you have any other listings where they're open to this sort of financing, let me know, right? So I'm just throwing it out there. And none of those bit, really. I had 2 who were a little bit more serious, and they actually want to set up a call. So, one guy I met, he is actually a fix and flipper. He I think said he fix and flip is on average like 50 homes per year. And similar age to me, and he said, oh, like the seller may be open to subject to, and you may not have to put that much money down because the loan is almost how much the house is worth. And this home has been on the market for about 120 days. It was actually the oldest listing, and basically they're selling it for, I think they're selling it for how much they bought it for. So which means after commission and fees, closing costs, they're losing money on this deal, right? So, but I don't know the motivations, but they want to sell it. And then the realtor said, they may be open to creative financing. I pitched it in before. Let me ask them again. And I said, they are interested. I just need a bank statement or tell me how much the monthly cost is. And I think he kind of roughly told me, like at a high level, PITI was roughly around $2,300, and it was about 2,500 square feet. So it would rent out for about $2,500. So it would cash flow about $200 a month, which just call it break even, right? Or maybe that's negative if you include property management in there. But whatever it looks like, it might be like a little bit of cash flow. But if I can get zero money down, and the realtor is just like, well, if you pay my commissions or we split the commissions, like I could, defer it. So it's kind of put you on a payment plan, like maybe pay half now, half later, or pay over like 3 years, some sort of like spread out payment plan for the commission so that I can get in as low money down as possible. So, I'm that's the most promising one, but nothing's guaranteed yet. And then another one, she wanted to talk to me and said, okay, like I can ask them about assuming the loan and all that. And I might have another property with the same thing, which may be opening credit financing. And I just said, hey, like, let me know. And just, I need the bank statements. I need the monthly costs. And she seemed excited at the time, but after the phone call, she sent me a text saying like, oh, can you send me your link to your website? So usually when they do that, they're like trying to see, are you legit or are you not? And then I just responded, hey, like, I don't have an official website. I am just a pharmacist who owns 52 units. So now I'm sharing how many units I own to show I'm serious in Oklahoma, Alabama, California. And I'm just looking to grow my portfolio and buy 10 of these. And, I don't have a website, but like, here's a link to my YouTube channel, right? So like, they can see that I posted, like, I have 1,000 videos I post every day. They can see me, see that I'm a legit person. And I get it. With credit financing, trust is involved. Right? So that's why I create content too. It's like, hey, look, close to 6,000 subscribers, not a lot, but not a little. And, I post daily and you can get to see me and see if I'm legit or not. And I just said that like, oh, this is the name of my LLC. And why she wants to know my name of LLC is because she's probably going to look it up on the Alabama Secretary of State website and then see that's active. Right? So it's really simple. And then she hasn't responded yet since. So those are my two most promising leads. The rest of the realtors just like didn't even respond. So, I assume that that's not interested. But what's nice about this like direct mail or texting is that it's free, right? Like I spent no money to get these numbers. I just use a template to text to people. And at this point, it's just seeing who bites. With direct mail, I do have to pay. But what's nice about direct mail is, it gets a nice open rate. So I think direct mail is really good for like multifamily. But texting is probably good for like single family homes taking over subject to, because I basically save these listings on my Zillow, and if these listings expire, that's when you can go on PropStream. That's when you can look up the address. That's when you can see what the owner is, and from there you can get their address or maybe their number and then send them a letter or text them directly, right? So no realtor involved. So that's kind of my goal. So like, if one of these pans out, maybe I can get one or two homes that take over subject to of no to low money down, and hopefully cash flow enough. Like I'm just hoping I need cash flow $200-300 a month, which is essentially break even, because that money is not used for my lifestyle. It's used just to cover capex or vacancies or whatnot. So that's really what it is. And I'm just hoping to get like 10 of these properties, no to low money down, subject to seller carry second, and hoping that over the next 10 years they appreciate so I can sell off half and use that to pay off the other half. And now I'll own 5 of these free and clear. And if it's, $5,000 to $2,000 on average, that's $10K in monthly revenue and no mortgage. So just whatever your insurance is, your HOA, your capex, your vacancy, your reserves, your HOA. So it's not as much money, but I'm hoping to do that. Right. And I think for me, I have a limiting belief right now that I cannot buy a home with no to low money down. So I need to do this just to kind of shatter my mindset, because I'm very skeptical by nature, and I need to like prove it to myself to know it's possible. Like I see it on YouTube videos, I hear it all the time, but I need to do it myself to believe it. And I think once I do it, it's going to shatter a limiting belief that I have. So I'm trying to do that right now, with like not much effort and not much money spent, right? Because this is all free. So for me, I'm hoping that, I can get a deal. And like I said, this is a good time because it's a good time to rent. And, and I think these realtors know, like a lot of the realtors that respond say, oh, I've gotten pitched subject to seller carry second before. So I think because it's shifting to a buyer's market, and then given all the new construction in Huntsville, Alabama, like you have to work this way. Unless someone like, I mean, I can pay cash or traditional financing, but I'm gonna lowball you, essentially, right? Like really lowball, and you're gonna lose even more money at the closing table. So to me, subject to seller carry second is a way that they don't lose money at the closing table. I can take over property, no lose money down, but it takes a while for people to get there. So that's why I said follow up is key. So like for me, I just really want to follow up. Like I think I had a third response. Sorry, and he actually owns the home himself, and he's just saying like, oh, the lowest I can go down is 320 from 325. And why is his lowest 320 is because that's how much he bought it for. He bought for 320. So if you factor in like closing costs, he's losing money in this deal, and he's his own realtor, so he's not paying any commissions. I don't have a realtor, so you're not going to pay commissions for me. And I just retexted him saying, hey, like, would you be open to something like creative financing, like subject to seller carry second? And then he didn't respond to that, right? So once again, they have to get beaten into subject to seller carry second, right? It's not the first option. Most people just want to straight sell, but usually after a while, like I said, it's hard to straight sell when there's a new construction that's $10,000 more that you can buy with 25% down, get builder credits, and they can buy down your rate to like maybe a 5.5%, which isn't terrible, right? But for me, I don't want to buy new construction because I want to put low to no money down. That's my objective, right? So that's really it. So I'll keep you guys posted on to see if anyone bites out of this batch, and then bring you guys through the journey to show that it's possible. And I want to document me shattering limiting belief if possible, right? Like I had an opportunity in my last batch to buy one with 10K down, but unfortunately the rents didn't pan out, and I would have lost money on this deal. So for me, it wasn't worth it. But had that worked out rent wise, I mean, I would have done a deal for like 10K down, and maybe cover the closing costs. So but the rents didn't pan out according to my property manager. So usually if they're more serious and we're progressing, they're open to creative financing. That's when I engage my property manager and like, hey, look, like, what do the rents look like for you? Like, what do you think you can rent this for? And what's the turnover? What's the average time to rent these out? And then my property manager can give me all these metrics. So that's really kind of my approach, and then kind of my strategy with this. So anyways, if you want to buy multifamily real estate with guidance, mentorship, and coaching, click on my link tree down below. From there, you could see all my links. You can send me an email, and from there, happy to give you a discount code if you reach out to me via email, or if you have any questions. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you.